Hi, welcome to another vlog entry for our 53 Ford Customline. Today we're
greasing bearings and
we're greasing bearings.
yeah, putting the bearings on, packing them. That's what I'm doing right now. Packing the inner or the outer bearing, making sure that it's packed full of grease and all around. And so this goes right there. And after you grease it, don't drop it. I think I almost did. So I'm wearing gloves because of this is so messy. But you just put it in your palm and move it around.
So you have to get the grease in all the separate wheels of the bearing.
Yeah, and also make sure it's coming out right there.
Okay.
That it's not absorbing, or it's not pulling in any more grease along there. Like you can see there's some space where grease needs to get in. So this is the outer part.
Does that also have to be greased then?
Yeah.
Since you're greasing that.
Yeah. What I was just greasing was the race or the bearing cup. And that needs to be greased. We need to put grease inside there. Then we need to, basically it's a really messy job for a while. I'm using high temperature wheel bearing grease. I cleaned out the old grease before adding the new grease. I used brake cleaner.
Okay, we flipped the brake drums over and we're going to grease the inside of these. Well, not the whole inside, just the part where the bearings go.
Yeah, there's different opinions on how much grease to put in here. Some people say pack it completely full. Some people say 1/3 to 1/2 full. And so in between the bearing cups.
Oh, either way, that's a lot of grease.
Yeah, either way, it's a lot of grease. That way, if you didn't pack the bearings well enough, or if grease comes out, then you have extra grease.
Oh.
So it's lots of grease. And also, don't get the grease on the braking surface. That's why I had her flip it over, because my hands are covered in grease. Okay, so just drop the bearing in there, make sure it's seated. This is the inner bearing that I'm dealing with right now, seated against the race. And then we have the oil seals, which I'll have to hammer in. So here's the seal, and it goes in this way, and that's a bad sign. That's a very bad sign that
What is?
it just went right in.
Are they the wrong seal?
They're not supposed to be. Yeah. The old ones were really hard to get off. Maybe I don't have the... So the bearing seals that we got originally were the wrong ones. There's two different bearing seals that you could get. The original hubs were slightly smaller around here, and so it had a smaller inside outside diameter on here. So we had to order new replacement seals for the sub. Apparently it's not original, it's a replacement hub. And this is fitting much better where it doesn't just slide in like the other one did. And so we'll have to gently hammer it in. I'll put that over there so that
to protect the hub, or the the seal.
To keep dirt from getting in there.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll just. Although I can't really see what I'm doing as well.
Can the seals tear or crack?
In here? The rubber part?
Yeah.
Maybe. So just go around. If you have a socket, that works better. But I don't have a socket big enough to fit around the outside of this. So I have to do it this way. Gently going around in circles, making sure it's flush. And it's flush now. And then I'll take a little bit of grease, wet the seal just in case it needs it. I don't think it'll need it because the spindle is already coated in grease. And then make sure I have all the parts I need.
Which are here.
The outer bearing and the washer underneath it and the spindle nut.
And those are already coated in grease, so.
Yeah, those are coated in grease already.
It's hard to tell what they are. And then the cap.
And the cap. And we have to replace the caps too, because ours are quite worn, quite beat up. Put some grease on the spindle. And the surface where the whole seal goes. I'll grab the inner bearing. Then you have to be careful that you don't bend the seal when you put it in. That doesn't look right. Oh, okay. Let's try this. So put it in carefully. And put the other bearing in, if you can. There we go. Turn around a little bit. So we have it firmly seated. We have the washer on. And I didn't clean the threads well enough apparently. Okay. So just like there's different methods to packing the bearings, there's different methods packing grease into the bearings. There's also different methods about preloading this thing. Now, some people say to tighten it to a certain torque, then loosen it a little bit. The manual says to tighten it till you feel a little bit of resistance and then back it off. So turn it around, help the bearings get seated. And now there's resistance. There is there. Oh, tacked it a little bit more, but now it's turning again. Okay, it does not spin anymore, so we'll wiggle it, and I'm not sure that's tight enough. Okay, we have a new cotter pin.
Okay, the old one got bent up when you pulled out the drum off for the first time, right?
Yeah. And it's still too tight, so we need to loosen it a little bit. There it goes. Okay, so we have the tire on. We only put 2 bolts on because it's temporary, and there's no, when you do it at the top and bottom, It's just imperceptible. It's more the rubber moving, I think, than the bearings. So it looks like we have it done for this side.
That means it's seated well?
Yeah.
Okay. If there's no wiggle, then it's seated well in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you just turn one way, and then you turn the other another way for the cotter pin, so that
it doesn't come out.
So it doesn't come out. Then you can put the cap on. Okay, so we have the cap. Finally ready to put it on, and a lot of places, I think the manual says it too, put more grease into the cap. I'm not sure why, because it's all...
There's grease already on there, but you need a little bit more.
Yeah. And then just gently hammer it in. And that's done. So now we can switch to the other side.
Easy, right?
Yeah.